what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video. In this video we are going to be doing another review, and then tomorrow I am starting my top 10 lists for the top 10 positional players and pitchers and stuff like that. So be ready for that tomorrow. But for right now, we have 3 new amazing signature cards that we are going to be reviewing and giving a grade to. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay guys, the first and in my opinion probably the best card that I have seen out of the 3 cards that were released is the 99 overall Kaline. This guy is a thumper. He is a terrific hitter, and he's also one of the best defensive outfielders in the game. Definitely one of the best defensive right fielders. He has a cannon of an arm. He has 96 fielding, going to be very reliable. An 88 reaction. That's probably not the best that I've seen in the game, but it's definitely up there to pair with 64 speed. He's going to have some range. He's going to have really good range. Maybe not as much range as a guy like Tony Gwynn or a guy like Ichiro, but still, defensively, he's going to be probably one of the most elite right fielders in the game. And you can also stick him in left field and center field, and he's going to do a good job for you there. Definitely a diamond level defender. And then offensively, the 124 vision is where this card really starts to sell me. The part where I'm like, okay, maybe this is a guy that I should consider an option. Yeah, he's right-handed, and usually I tend to limit the amount of righties I have on my team to 3 hitters. I usually don't like to have 4 or 5 righties on my team because I like to get switch hitters and lefties in there just to balance out the lineup. But I feel like you could justify putting this guy on your team with a, even if you have a really good signature laden squad, because the vision is just so high. He also has great contact, and his power is not up there with some of the other signature cards that we've seen that have like 110 plus power, that just basically if you make solid contact it's going to be hit at 110. But he does have enough power that if you can really get under a ball and lift it, that it's probably going to get out of the stadium, and he's going to be hitting a lot of doubles and maybe triples for you in the right kind of ballpark. The only knock on this card that I can necessarily see is that he doesn't have a lot of speed. He's not going to be the biggest threat on the base paths, but that's not that big of a deal. He's not playing center, he's not playing shortstop or second base, so you're not really looking to get a ton of speed value out of him. You can get that from other positions. So yeah, just all around really solid card, and I ended up giving him an overall grade of a 9.1. Next up, we have the 96 overall Kinsler, and this card is surprisingly good. If this card were more versatile, if he could play a variety of different positions, then I would definitely go out and buy this card. But the fact that he can only play second base, in my opinion, does kind of limit his value, just because I have the Roberto Alomar. I think a lot of people have the Roberto Alomar, and there's no way that I'm knocking him off of my team for this guy. Now, if you ended up picking someone other than the Alomar during the 3rd inning program, then maybe this is the guy that can fill that role for you. Or if you're a guy that doesn't have the Joe Morgan from the XP reward path, or there are a few second basemen out there that are really good, but if you're looking for a second baseman, this is probably going to be a pretty cheap option for you, because you can get him, I think, on the market once it kind of settles down for about 20,000 stubs. That's generally what the lower end guys from this diamond signature pack, that's usually what they've gone for. Maybe even less, I don't know, because they're new pack that you can buy a new pack now, and maybe that'll drive down the price. But as far as him as a player goes, one, I know that this Kinsler is going to have a tremendous swing. That's the one thing that is true about all iterations of Kinsler. They all have a really good swing that generates a lot of power, and their power tends to play up because of that. So whenever you see 80, 85 power, just know that his swing is going to make that play up from the raw numbers. And then he has the 106 vision, very good. His contact is very good. He plays good defense, doesn't have the strongest arm, but that's okay. He's a second baseman, not that big of a deal. And then he has some speed to go along with it. Not tremendous speed. 75 speed with 87 stealing. That's enough to be a threat. It gives your opponent something to think about. And you will be able to take an extra base occasionally with that kind of speed. So kind of a 5-tool guy. Doesn't really have the arm strength, so maybe 4-tool with like average 5th tool. And it's just that he's just very good at everything. He's not like elite at anything. So that's kind of what I would say about this card. He's just good at everything, just not elite. And at this point in the game cycle, I don't know how much those cards like that have that I don't know how much value cards like that have. But doesn't mean it's a bad card. Doesn't mean I'm going to give it a bad grade. And, you know, just looking at the total package here, it kind of reminds me of maybe similar value to like the Curtis Granderson, but maybe a little bit better since he does play second, and that tends to be a little bit more of a premium position. So I'm going to end up giving him an overall FAG of an 8.5. And then finally, we have the 98 overall Ryan Braun, the left fielder. There are some things to like about this card, but then there are some major concerns with it. Offensively, this card is going to be great, especially versus left-handed pitching with 120 contact and 108 power. I'm not that familiar with Ryan Braun's swing, so I don't know how much that is going to affect how good he is overall. I tend not to use Ryan Braun cards because the lower tiered versions tend to be kind of platoon heavy, and so I just don't have that much experience with him to know. But we'll just assume for the sake of this video that he has kind of an average swing that's not going to make it go that much one way or the other. He has 95 vision, which is a little low for an upper tier signature card, but still, you know, kind of like the Votto, good enough to get by until maybe you get to the very, very top levels, and people kind of know how to exploit small PCIs. But then, you know, his other numbers are just as good. 104 contact, 94 power versus righties. And then, like I said, he crushes left-handed pitching. So maybe this is an option if, you know, if your team is terrific, that you can put this guy on the bench for maybe, I don't know, let's say you have Lou Brock in the outfield and you want to platoon for him. Maybe this is the guy that can do that for you. The one concern with this card, though, is the defense. It's not terrible, but usually, you know, if you have a team that can afford putting 98 signatures on it, you're going to want to get a little bit better defense than that. I know he is a left fielder, but, you know, sometimes having that good defense out there can really help you. He does have 70 reaction with 74 speed, so he might have better range than, you know, the Braun Shield defense might indicate at first, but he might get, you know, every now and then he might get a bad jump. He's not going to be the most reliable guy out there, and he's not going to have the strongest arm. But then he does have some speed and some stealing to go along with it. He's very similar to the Kinsler on the base pass. So that adds a little bit of value to this card as well. I got to be honest though, since he does play left field, he can play third base. So I will add a bit of a utility bonus to him for that. Because that, you know, that's kind of rare and that can be kind of valuable. Maybe you want to put this guy at third base instead. That might be an option. But given everything around this card and the fact that he doesn't play that good defense, I don't think that this card is really as good as the Kinsler. I know that that's kind of surprising to say, but if you have two guys where one is a little bit better offensively, and this card is better than the Kinsler offensively, even though that Kinsler swing might change that, and then you have another one that's much better defensively, which that Kinsler is, and he plays a more premium position, I'm going to tend to lean towards the guy that plays the better defense as long as he is fairly close offensively. And the Kinsler also has higher vision, so that's a plus in his favor as well. So I don't think this card is as good as the Kinsler's, in my opinion. And if you had to pick between the two, I would go with the Kinsler. And so for those reasons, I'm going to give this guy a FAG of an 8.4. I know that seems awfully low for a guy that has some speed and has hitting stats that are this good. And maybe you're right. And maybe, you know what, with the utility bonus, I'm going to bump it up to an 8.5, just tied with the Kinsler. I don't think I can justify going any lower than that because his hitting just is that good. You know, there are some concerns with this card, but it is a really good card. So I don't want to poo-poo it too much. But yeah, that is going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It really, really helps out the channel a ton. You have no idea how much it helps. And, you know, if you're new, please subscribe. And, yeah, I will see you guys later. But until then, peace.